A partial rebuild of a Stuart 10V steam engine, part 2. The engine is now divided into two parts. The upper part needs a lot of attention, but the lower part is reasonable. The flywheel has been turned out of true and the eccentric needs some work. The good news is that the crankshaft and bearings are good. But really, to be perfectly honest, it looks like this engine was built by a beginner with some added wrong materials for good measure, and it's terrible. I found one gasket on the entire engine. The rest of the joints are held together by something that looks like glue, and copious amounts of glue at that. There is some damage around the exhaust port. That is not my doing. I'm really trying my best not to destroy this engine or throw it across the room. I started off by using a Stanley knife blade as usual, but the joint was so solid this made no impression on it. Then I carefully used a small screwdriver and managed to get in between the steam chest and the cylinder. This loosened the steam chest, but it wasn't the answer to removing it. What I had to do was use a broader bladed screwdriver to further lever off the steam chest. There is so much sealant on this part, it's firmly stuck to the studs, and this took quite a while. A quick message to the owner of the engine. If you decide to buy any more engines off the auction site that we know and love, can you let me have a look at them first to give you some guidance as to why you shouldn't buy them? For me, this is a borderline job. The engine is only just worth rebuilding. It will be okay when I've finished with it. Look at the state of the port face with the big chunk out of it. It is salvageable, but there's going to be a lot of work to make this into a reliable working engine. I'm actually doing this job for nothing because I like a challenge now and again, and this is a challenge. I wouldn't take on a job like this as a commercial rebuild because the cost of repair exceeds the value of the object being repaired. A while ago I bought some of these special pliers that do not have serrations on the jaws, but I don't find them very good. I can't get enough grip on the parts I need to move. They're really useful for certain jobs, but not this particular one. There are two things wrong with the top cylinder cover. One is it has washers under the bolts, and the other is it's made from brass. I'm going to be repainting the cylinder cover on the top, but I'll leave the brass showing around the edge to match the brass that is visible around the lower part. This clip shows me removing the last of the cylinder cover bolts. This is a cylinder which is fitted with a really badly made, obscenely awful exhaust pipe. This went straight in the bin. What I'm doing here is removing some of the sealant from the inside surface of the cylinder cover. The exhaust hole has been drilled far too close to the port face, and that explains the damage. When it was originally threaded, a piece of cast iron fell off because it really is very thin in this area. Finally, I have a kit of parts in the red box, all of which need attention. Not forgetting the flywheel, which isn't actually round and needs remachining. Here's yet another close-up of the damage to the cylinder. I'm showing this mess quite a lot just to illustrate how important it is to be very careful what you buy online. I'm going to rethread both the inlet and the exhaust. For some reason, the inlet is threaded 5/16 by 26. This is not as shown on the drawing. It's miles too big. The threads are not good on these parts. I think whoever threaded it used a taper tap and didn't go all the way in, because it's very tight and full of sealant. Holding the tap in a spanner and rotating the part seemed like a good idea to rethread the parts. The massively oversized steam inlet has now been rethreaded. I repeat the process using a 1/4 by 32 threads per inch tap for the exhaust outlet, being very careful not to make more of a mess of the hole. Once again, here is a shot of the exhaust outlet with the damaged part, and I'm pleased to say that the thread is far better than it was. Time to put the taps and dies away and get on with the next bit. I need to check some of the dimensions to make sure they're okay. This is a really old leaflet from Stuart, and here's what's inside the leaflet, a full drawing for a Stuart 10V and a Stuart 10H. I've blurred it out for copyright reasons. This is the piston and rod, and thankfully the piston rod is firmly fitted into this piston. It wasn't very firmly fitted into the crosshead. And what I'm doing here is cleaning up the top surface. First of all on some 400 grit wet to dry sandpaper, and then on my whetstone. In no time at all, not only is the top surface flat, it's nice and shiny. Here I'm cleaning the bottom part of the piston rod, the bit that fits in the crosshead, using some Scotch-Brite because it was full of glue. Originally this piston and rod was finger tight into the crosshead, and I need it to be a little bit more than finger tight. So in order to do that, I'm drilling 2 holes opposite each other. So then I'll be able to screw the piston rod very tightly into the crosshead, and to do that I'll use a pair of circlip pliers as shown here. The dimensions from the end of the piston to the end of the piston rod should be 1 13/16 of an inch, and I'm pleased to say that that is the dimension. And that is it for this episode. I'd like to say, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.